So Gary, you were the first investor to write a check to Coinbase back in 2012. You have been through multiple cycles of volatility. What do you think in particular is happening right now? And how is this different from volatility we've seen before?
Yeah, I'd like to point out that as a big crypto enthusiast for going on 10 years, a drawdown of 50% or more has happened 6 times before. This isn't new or scary for any of us. It's just Thursday. It's always jarring when this happens, but the standard operating procedure for this type of asset class is when it goes parabolic, it's just not possible for it to go forever. And so I think, we need this volatility. It's the weak hands getting shaken out, and, it's the diamond hands who actually hold. And, the thing is, you have to be in the right ones that actually have some sort of real utility. And I think that really comes back to what's happening in crypto today. There's, really 3 big pieces. And, the first part is really store of value. So when we're talking about price, we're spending a lot of time thinking about digital gold. And, that's just something you can hold. Long term, I'm way more excited about things like Ethereum, decentralized finance or DeFi built on Ethereum. It's up 65x in the past year to $65 billion locked up on that platform. And this was just $1 billion just a year ago. So as a early stage startup investor, anything that grows 65x in a single year, I'm paying attention to.
Bitcoin right now hovering around 40,000. Okay, maybe it's just Thursday for you, but for a lot of new investors, this is whiplash. This is scary. And what do you have to say to new investors who, are surprised and they're not sure if they want to do this for the long haul?
Yeah, the tricky thing here is, and I deeply believe this, I tell this to my family and my friends and anyone really out there, if you're scared, you might have bought too much. Right? The classic rule of thumb is put, 1%, 2% of your net worth. If you're scared, if it's something that's going to cause problems for you, do not put that much money into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency broadly, because it is really, truly that volatile. And if you limit it to 1 or 2%, when you get that 5x or 10x swing, you're going to be really happy that 1% became 10x. But, like anyone, I don't have a crystal ball, and it's best to be long-term oriented and don't be over your skis, and that goes for stocks or cryptocurrency.
Since you mentioned diamond hands, Gary, I have to ask you about Elon Musk. Obviously, he surprised the market when he said they were going to stop accepting Bitcoin for Tesla. Then, doubling down on the issue with the energy consumption, then implying that they had sold perhaps some of their Bitcoin holdings, but then clarifying he didn't. Then this diamond hands tweet, which, to be frank, pissed a lot of people off after that kind of whiplash. I mean, how much do you think Elon in particular is to blame for the current volatility, whether or not it's fair?
I think that he brings up a really great point. I think I was looking at the numbers, and Bitcoin actually takes something like the entire, an annual energy budget of Australia to run, something on that order. And so, it's around, I think, 1%. And that's really crazy to think about. But the cool thing is that technologists are coming up with new types of solutions like proof of stake, which is sort of what Ethereum 2.0, and many other new cryptocurrencies are actually going to. And so that actually takes something that is a crazy energy draw down by 99%. And so the cool thing is engineers are coming up with better solutions already. And I think that that's what I'm excited about. Bitcoin is great as sort of this unending store of value, and the salient feature of it is that it's not going to change. But I'm way more excited about new communities, new engineers, people who are sort of building the future, and that's where I think it's going to go. And I think Elon is entitled to his opinion.
I want to talk a little bit about Coinbase, because when folks jumped in and tried to buy the dip yesterday, Coinbase was down at 32,000. It didn't come back up until Bitcoin was back to 37 or something. Of course, it wasn't the only exchange that had a problem, but it definitely points to some of the technical issues, the infrastructure maybe not being ready for this kind of volatility. Should we be worried about? Are you concerned about that as an investor?
Yeah, I think that that's something that technologists, we're always seeing a crazy amount of scale. And so I think that it's an unsolved problem yet. And that's part of the reason why a lot of people look at this and they say, well, it's just an exchange. How hard could it be? And actually, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, there's an incredible amount of work necessary, whether it's just the pure engineering of keeping the site up, all the way to insurance, compliance. And that's something that you get with Coinbase that you really don't get with a lot of the unregulated exchanges. And so it is a hard problem. I think that the team is doing their best. And on a big volume day like this, the interesting thing is it's a pretty crazy spike of revenue anytime it happens too.
So, volume aside, what's your take on the price? I mean, where do you think Bitcoin is going? Will it get to 500,000 like Cathie Wood says, or to infinity and beyond like some other crypto enthusiasts have suggested?
Yeah, I think the zoom out for me is I try not to think about the price as much. I'm way more interested in, really how early we are. On my YouTube channel, I had Brian Armstrong, talk me through what he thought the future was. And, we talked about DeFi, but we also talked about this thing called decentralized autonomous organizations. He talked about an organization he started on the side called Research Hub, which is actually a decentralized form of a scientific research institution. And in 10 or 20 years, I could see an organization like that built on top of cryptocurrencies that could actually rival that of any, Harvard or Stanford, really any organization that does premier scientific research, just like how Wikipedia killed Encyclopedia Britannica. And I'm excited about that. And at that point, the price follows value. I think that if you could create something that pushes forward all of human knowledge in a fundamental way, that's priceless.
I noticed, Gary, that you don't have laser eyes on your Twitter avatar. Are we going to see those at some point, and why not?
Oh, the reality is I love the memes. I just haven't had time to add it yet. I'll do it just for you, Emily.